The movie begins in a young girl's bedroom. She is frightened by the noise and sees a scary presence coming from her closet. It moves closer and claims to be her father. Just as she screams, there's a crunching sound and blood splashes onto a nearby photo. Then, we see Sadie entering the same closet crying. Her mother recently died in a car accident, and it's her first day back at school. She goes through the clothes hanging inside and decides to wear one of her mom's dresses. Sadie lives with her little sister, Sawyer, and their father, Will, who is a therapist. After putting on her mom's dress, Will drives her to school. There, she meets her best friend, Bethany, who says she's sorry for loss of her mother. As they talk, other friends join them and look at Sadie strangely. One of them, Natalie, makes a rude comment about her mom's dress, upsetting Sadie. In anger, Sadie calls her a bitch. Furious, Natalie pushes Sadie, spilling a drink all over her dress. Sadie starts crying and goes home to change. Meanwhile, Will's in his office at the house when a strange man named Lester enters the office, and even though Will's nervous, he sees Lester's pain and desperation and lets him sit and talk. Lester reveals that all of his children died under mysterious circumstances and that the prevailing rumor is that he killed them all. But then he tells Will how the boogeyman was the real killer and how his kids tried to tell him about it, but he didn't believe them. Lester says the creature feeds on trauma and pain and shows Will a picture that one of his kids drew of it. Spooked, Will excuses himself and goes to the kitchen to call the police. But while he's doing that, Lester disappears into the house. Sadie comes home and puts her dress in the washing machine before changing into new clothes. Suddenly, she hears strange noises coming from her mom's art studio upstairs. When she goes to check, she notices blood on the door. She opens it and finds the room completely trashed. Will appears and tells her there is a man in the house who suddenly vanished. While he is telling her about Lester, they spot Lester's body hanging from a door. Meanwhile, Sawyer arrives home on the school bus and sees chaos outside. Police, EMTs, and reporters everywhere. After the cops leave and things calm down, Will puts Sawyer to bed. He's surprised by how much light she needs to sleep. Her room is filled with Christmas lights, neon rainbows, and a special moon lamp. Before leaving, he checks her closet and under the bed, then says goodnight. Will later checks in on Sadie, but when she tries to talk about her feelings, he shuts her down. He avoids discussing their mother's death, refusing to deal with it, which leaves both daughters feeling alone. Looking for answers, Sadie turns to the internet and watches videos on how to contact the dead. That night, the boogeyman appears for the first time. It bursts open Sawyer's closet door and crawls under her bed. When she looks under the bed, she sees a monstrous figure growling at her. Scared, Sawyer uses her moon lamp, rolling it under the bed, where she catches a quick glimpse of the creature. She panics, runs to Sadie's room, and tells her something is there. Sadie comforts her, and they sleep together. To calm her, Sadie sings the lullaby their mom used to sing. The next day, Sadie and Sawyer visit their therapist, Dr. Weller. Sawyer talks about her fear of the dark and the boogeyman. Dr. Weller tries an experiment where Sadie and Sawyer are together in the room with a red light that turns on and off. But during one of these dark moments, Sawyer sees the boogeyman. She gets so scared that she accidentally wets her pants. That night, Sadie sneaks into her dad's office and listens to the recording of Lester's story. She also finds Lester's address and a notebook filled with drawings by his kids. When she rubs a pencil over one of the pages, an eerie drawing of the boogeyman appears. Meanwhile, upstairs, Sawyer hears strange noises in the hallway. She rolls her moon lamp down the hall, but hears it shatter. Panicked, she runs downstairs and in a sudden burst of strength, shoves Sadie, thinking she's trying to scare her. But Sadie swears it wasn't her, and Sawyer sees the boogeyman drawing. At school, Sadie asks her best friend, Bethany, to drive her to Lester's house. They arrive at Lester's house, and Sadie goes inside to check. The place looks abandoned, with murder spray painted in bright red on the wall. Sadie goes inside and cautiously looks around, realizing someone is still living there. Upstairs, she finds hundreds of lit candles on the floor. That's when she meets Lester's wife, Rita, who looks nothing like a regular housewife. She's dirty, ragged, and holding a shotgun like a soldier. At first, Rita thinks Sadie is just another troublemaking teen, but Sadie explains that Lester died in her house. When she asks about their kids, Rita tells her about the boogeyman, explaining that it hides in the dark, feeds on pain and trauma, and can even copy human voices. But before Sadie can process everything, Rita suddenly fires her shotgun at what she believes is the boogeyman behind Sadie. Terrified, Sadie runs out of the house. When Sadie gets home, Sawyer keeps asking her about the boogeyman, but Sadie ignores her and locks herself in her room. Then, the boogeyman suddenly smashes through the door, knocks her down, and shoves itself into her mouth. But it's just a nightmare. Later, Sadie is shocked to find that Will has packed up all of their mom's art supplies and dumped them in the basement. She goes downstairs and looks through the boxes, finding her mom's lighter, a tin of weed, and an old video camera. When she turns it on, she sees a video of herself as a baby, with her mom singing the lullaby to her. At school, Bethany tries to reconnect with Sadie and suggests they hang out. Wanting to feel normal again, Sadie reluctantly invites Bethany and her other so-called friends over. Will and Sawyer agree to give her space so she can enjoy the evening. But once they're in her room, everyone quickly gets bored until Sadie brings out her mom's stash tin. They light up a joint, and Sadie takes her first hit, coughing hard. But the coughing doesn't stop. She rushes to the bathroom and pulls a long string from her throat, with Sawyer's baby tooth tied to the end. Things get even worse when Natalie dares Sadie to show them where Lester died. Then, as a cruel joke, they shove her into the closet and lock the door. As the others laugh outside, Sadie panics when she sees the boogeyman creeping out of the shadows. When the door finally opens, Sadie slaps Natalie across the face. The girls then leave the house. Meanwhile, Sawyer in her room playing video games. Suddenly, the boogeyman creeps toward her. She tries to use the game's bright flashes to light up the room, but it doesn't help. She can still hear it moving around. Holding her breath, she stays as quiet as possible, but it grabs her. The creature throws her straight into the TV. Will rushes her to the hospital, while Sadie, determined to stop the creature, decides to take action. That's when she gets a call from Rita, who claims she has found a way to kill it. Sadie returns to Rita's house, only for Rita to suddenly slam her against a wall. Apologizing, Rita ties Sadie to a beam, planning to use her as bait to lure the boogeyman into her trap. The creature falls for the trap, stepping into the tripwires and triggering shotgun shells that blast it from all sides. It seems like they've taken it down. Rita goes near it, and suddenly, the boogeyman grabs her and kills her before trying to go after Sadie. She manages to get out of the house, calls her dad. Her dad tells her he's taking Sawyer home, and she realizes Boogeyman is going to find them there. Sadie then hears what sounds like Boogeyman grabbing Will and Sawyer. She arrives home and finds Sawyer hiding in a closet covered in Christmas lights, clutching a bottle of hairspray as a weapon. Together, they rush to the basement, where they find the boogeyman holding an injured Will. The boogeyman drops Will and attacks Sadie. They spray hairspray on the boogeyman, causing it to back off. As they try to escape, the hanger falls on Sawyer, trapping her underneath. She tries to free Sawyer, but the boogeyman attacks and almost kills her. However, Will gets back up and stabs the creature. He attempts to kill it, but the boogeyman is so powerful that it throws Will aside again. But just as they're about to escape, the Christmas lights go out, leaving them in darkness with only Sadie's lighter for light. Suddenly, the lighter's flame suddenly grows larger and brighter. Sadie remembers the video she watched about contacting the dead, how she asked her mom to bend the flame as a sign. As the flame flickers and bends, filling the room with light, she realizes their mom's presence is with them. Using this moment, they fight back, spraying the hairspray over the flame to create a makeshift blowtorch, blasting the boogeyman with fire until the hairspray runs out. Just as things seem over, Sawyer finds a bottle of charcoal lighter fluid and sprays it at the creature. Sadie throws the lighter at it, setting the creature on fire and killing it. As the family escapes, Sadie watches her mom's dress burn and quietly thanks her for helping them. Later, we see the family at Dr. Weller's office. For the first time, Will opens up about losing his wife, and both Sadie and Sawyer cling to him, relieved to hear him talk about it. After the session, Will and Sawyer leave, but Sadie hears Dr. Weller calling her back into the office. When she enters, Dr. Weller is gone. Instead, there's just an open, dark closet. Sadie cautiously approaches it, then quickly shuts the door, unsure of what might be lurking inside. In this way, the movie ends here. Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe for more interesting movie recaps.